So.
Yo, what's up, guys? I want to thank everybody for checking out the first ever episode of the Robbie Cook Show right here on YouTube, Facebook. I got none other than with me, Eddie Chief Two Rivers. Go ahead, man. Say your piece. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm over here chopping down with so much excitement with the thunder, lightning. Whoa, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me here. Woo, yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for being on, man. I know, we have our little bit of history and stuff here with me doing some shady stuff like that in the ring. And I just want to say, I apologize for you on that. When you're in a championship match, things get heated and you do things you probably shouldn't be doing. So I have no ill regard towards you. I hope you know that. And I got respect for you.
Hey, I
So,
understand bygones be bygones. I can I could deal with that. And hey, the best part of this, I'm in my humbly home doing this. I'm not over there in front where I could be attacked by the masked man. That happened to me a while back. And I'm unfortunately your dad. We got into a confrontation too. So again, I understand bygones be bygones, and I'm excited that I'm over here, so I feel comfortable and safe. So hey, let it rip. I'm good.
thank you, man. I just want to say that I always thought you were an awesome wrestler, and you're one of the most more humble guys that I've met coming up. So knowing behold, it's not new. It's news to some people who haven't paid attention, but my dad died of a heart attack a couple days ago, January 17th, TWA. We were going into a 6-man tag. Obviously, my dad's not going to be able to compete. As much as he wants to, he's not going to be able to do that. And I know you've been knowing I've been having issues with Pete Snow. I've been having issues with Robbie Idol, now Richie, and now Cuban's getting involved, which I have nothing, but respect for Cuban. It's him and my dad have that issues going on, and that Robbie and them had a run in with you a couple weeks ago. And
Yes,
I
I
know
do.
that probably doesn't sit well with you. So if we're going to let bygones be bygones, I'm offering you a chance to be on my team January 17th.
What? Oh my goodness. This is an awesome opportunity. Wow. I mean, yeah, again, I'm all about the fans. I'm all about the match. I'm all about just the business and everything. I'm all for that. I respect Bob Cook and what he has put into the wrestling business. He's impacted my life in a great way. I mean, I know I've been in the business and I met him later on in life, but he's helped me fine tune myself as a wrestler. Even though he criticized me about my headdress, but I know he does it with a good heart. He's very meaningful in what he does behind the closed doors of who he is. And I can read that and receive that. And just the fact that what he went through and has chosen me is an honor and a blessing that I cannot refuse. So whatever it is, whatever it takes, I'm there. I'll be there for you. Especially what happened the last time when they hit me with that that stick and everything, that's not gonna happen. I want my payback as well. So whatever it takes, thunder and lightning got your back. We be there for you. Whatever you
Thank
say.
you, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
I
So,
drink to that.
yeah, me too, brother. Me too. All right, man. So let's get this interview started, man. I just wanted to jump out the gate with that. So, I'm going to hit you with a question. How did you get into the wrestling business? What drew you there? Was it something that you seen as a young kid growing up, and you go, man, I want to do that? Or was it something that you discovered later on in life? What brought your journey to the Wrestling Brotherhood, man?
Oh man. Well, it all started with my dad, my late dad, who passed away in 2014. Louis Rivera. Um, I found out a lot about him last year, more about his working out, training. He was a Puerto Rican champion, and he was the referee here in New York. I mean, in the United States, he refereed Mike Tyson fights. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So at a young 8, 9, 10 years old, he started getting me into baseball. I didn't know he had connection to the Yankees. I guess had I known that, probably wrestling would have been my connection. But I did not know that. I gave my dad some hard times. So I got bored of the sport, got into other sports, football, swimming, a little bit of boxing, basketball. Then I just really did it for cardio, for working out, to get in shape. In my 20s, early 20s, I started dancing, performing. Then I was got into more working out, training. In my late 20s is when I was sitting down watching TV. My dad walked by. He was like, I could see you doing that. I was watching the wrestling. And I used to watch it even before, but, um, you know, I, when he told me that, I was in my mid 20s. I said, okay, and I started looking at it more closely and started getting more into it and everything. Then I went to Johnny Rod's gym in Brooklyn, New York. I tried to train there, but it was hard to keep up, because you got to pay and stuff like that. It was a lot of money. It was $1,000 down and $20, a day to train. So I tried to keep up, but I couldn't. Then in my 30s, I moved down to Tampa, Florida, to be close at the time with my ex-wife and my kids, but we divorced and everything. I started trying to, I said, what I'm going to do, I don't know what to do, is, I need to get back in shape. I was sitting down in a smoothie joint. I looked up to my left. Saw a flyer, and it had Coach Frank Reyes, and it talked about wrestling and everything. So I said, man, I want to get into that. I want to do that. But let me back up a little bit more. I was in church, and a friend of mine, because I'm also a churchgoer, a friend of mine came up to me, and I had innocently told him and just a couple heads that I had a dream of wrestling. So he brought a flyer over to a company at the time that was open. It didn't work out. And then, like I said, now back at the smoothie joint, I'm sitting down, I see a flyer on the wall, and it had Frank Reyes. So I said, okay, let me give him a call. And I gave him a call. He was like, yeah, come on down. I came on down, started training, met some wonderful people, Tony Storm, Morrison, James Morrison, um, just some wonderful guys, worked hard. The training was intense compared to what I see now. Is nothing compared to what we were doing then. I mean, before you got in the ring, you had to do stuff outside the ring. You had to do a run, a jog. Then when you got inside the place, you couldn't get in the ring. You had to do some Hindu squats, some other stuff. Then you got in the ring, you had to do some run and stuff like that. I mean, I loved it because I love cardio. So it was intense. It was fun. Met some wonderful people that inspired me more. Steve Kern came and spoke to us at that early time years ago. Just met some wonderful people, some wrestlers that coach had come down from the WWE to visit. I mean, then of course we met Joe there, Joseph, started training him there and everything. I was part of his trainer. So, just the whole journey has been awesome. I mean, I've enjoyed the ride. I've enjoyed the journey. I always say, yeah, I didn't make it to the WWE, but at least I made it here with the opportunity to impact people and inspire people, even people my age, that they could do it themselves. So that's why I still do it. You know, the day that comes that I can't keep up, then that'll be the day I retire. But for now, I don't plan on retiring. I plan on going strong, especially with that announcement you gave me for January 17th. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, can't wait. So I'm just excited. So that's how Coach Frank Reyes has been my coach, my my pops, my my everything. I'm loyal to him. I'm devoted. So that's that's the one. He's the one that called me the chief. I do have a background of Indian heritage, but I couldn't find out too much about it. Like I said, both my dad and my mom passed away in 2014. So it's kind of ironic that when Coach said, "Would you be interested in wrestling as the chief, as an Indian?" I said, "Well, yeah, of course. It was an honor just coming from him." So, um, been doing it 14 years later, going strong. I was a tag team champion, three-time champion, TWA champion, first-time champion, Florida State champion, PFW, PTW, just three-time champion. So I've enjoyed the journey, enjoyed the ride, and looking forward to getting more gold.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I feel the same way with you as far as I go. Like, if there comes a day that I can't keep up, anymore, and I'm stinking up the joint every night, it's time for me to get out. And
Exactly.
for me, and one of the things that keeps me going, as silly as this may sound, is I've never made it to WWE or anything like that, and one of the coolest things for me is I get to meet a lot of cool fans and whatnot, and you never know what people are going through and their personal life, and if they come to a show and they're watching my match, and if that can take them away from whatever negativity or stress or drama in their life for that 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes that I'm in the ring, that's awesome, man. Like, and
See, that's
and
that's that's
and
my gateway. That is my gateway as well. I'm going through some stuff. But to know that there are people coming over to watch me and know that they're going through some stuff, I get an opportunity to release that stuff I'm going through and to show them a good show and what it means to just to enjoy, have a good time, sit back, and then hopefully take that with them going home and look forward to coming back for the next time. So I really, look forward in doing things like that because I know what it means. I look forward to it because I am one that goes through stuff. And even today I'm going through stuff. So it's something that gives me motivation going to the gym, getting ready, preparing myself, especially now with this big announcement that is all, I'm just psyched. I can't wait to go to the gym tomorrow morning and now start getting ready for this January 17th. Even though I was already, but this gives me more fuel to the fire to get ready. So yeah, I know what you mean.
and like you said, I mean, as much as it's therapeutic for the people to come watch us, it's almost like therapeutic for us too. It's like once we walk out of that curtain, whatever craziness you got going on in life. Not saying I got craziness going on or anything like that, but whatever's on your mind prior to you getting out, go into that curtain, go to the ring, everything leaves, man. You got one thing on my mind, and that's getting through my match safe, getting my opponent through my match safe, and trying to have the best match that we can, and trying to entertain the crowd. So I look at it as helping us out, but helping out the fans who are watching too. So that's kind of how I feel about you. So
I mean, I've been doing it for 14 years, and it's what Coach has taught me and told me what it's all about. Uh, I mean, yeah, like you said, I didn't make it to the WWE, but and make it doing this in the Indies. It's much more real. It's much more. This I think is. I've looked at it on TV, and when I look at it now, I'm like, I'm glad I'm in the Indies. I'm glad I'm in this because I don't think I could do what they ask for in the WWE than what we do here today. So, because it's much more coordinated, much more choreographed. Here, we go according to what we feel according to the fans. We feed off the fans. The fans is what pushes us to wrestle and do what we need to do in the match to put the match over with safety. So it's an honor, it's a pleasure to every single time to step into that ring in front of a crowd of just, it could be 1 or 300, 500, doesn't matter. But that crowd, that those people that came to watch us is what I'm there for. And that's what I'm there is to put on a good show. I mean, I still to this day, I go to my matches nervous. People
Oh
ask me,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
why are you
Same
nervous?
here. You know,
They ask me why.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous the day before the show. I'm nervous the day of the show. I'm nervous until I get out there. You know,
Yeah,
it's one of those, and I feel you on the whole. You know, don't know if I could make it in the WWE because it's one of those things to where like my brain's not doesn't work the way where I could choreograph a whole match from start to finish and remember every single thing. I'm
yeah,
guaranteed to forget 90% of that, you
yeah,
know? And I don't want to be one of those guys where I go, oh crap, I forgot what the next spot is, and then I look like crap, you look like crap, and then it just becomes a whole mess of mumbo jumbo-ness, you know? It's like I'd rather go out there with a loose idea of let's do this,
yeah.
and we'll figure it out in the ring and we'll go from there, you know. Plus,
And
and
there's one,
I always thought it goes, you know, better, you know, like that, you know.
and there's
So
one thing and there's one thing that I know both of us won't be doing, and it's like when my coach says we ain't gonna be doing any flippy doos and all that kind of stuff, off the rope and all that stuff. So you know, I mean that's what
no,
the
no.
WWE.
When I was younger, though, I was all about doing the flippy doos off the ropes, man. But but I was, well, dude. When I started, I was like 170 pounds. You
Oh
know, I
wow,
was a little dude. You know, so that was what was kind of expected to for you know these a young skinny guy to be doing. Yeah, you look like Rey Mysterio kind of guy. You could do some flips and you could do some other stuff. I can, but now I don't. I've been wrestling for almost 20 years. You know,
um,
so me busting out a moonsault or me busting out like a swanton or something is something I'll do occasionally. You know, I don't want people to go. I don't want to be a one trick pony, as in, oh,
that's true.
this is what he does. You know, I got to change
Yeah,
my stuff up every now and then. You know,
right, right.
so
Yeah,
and yeah,
I mean,
as we got people chiming in. You know, John Reed says, "What up?"
hey
Andrew
John.
Scully. Andrew Scully commented. He says, "Call it on the fly." Yeah, exactly. Call it. That's how I prefer to work for
Yeah,
the most part. You know, like
that's the best way.
you know, like you can't really screw stuff up too bad. Then you know and you know I like to work with a loose idea of what the finish is,
Uh-huh.
and then maybe a small idea in the beginning or something, and just take it from there, man. I'm
You
already
know,
stressed out. I'm already stressed out enough as it is. I don't need the stress and pressure of trying to memorize a 20-minute match.
you
Start
know,
to
I'll tell you this. I've done both. I remember the match I had with Joseph Savicino when we first did his first match. We actually talked about it on the phone. We messenger each other what we were gonna do in the match, everything. I mean, verbatim. And to try to remember word for word what we're gonna do. I mean, I remember the first time we did the Memphis. Now I know what the Memphis is today, but at the time when we broke it down, I'm like in my head, like, oh my gosh, I hope I do this right, and this and this and that. So, you know, and then I wrestled with Vega TV, and he was the first one that we called it in the ring. I felt comfortable with him, and
yeah.
we did. We called it in the ring, and he led, of course, and I fed off of what he would call and say, and then I felt confident at times to say a move or whatever. But he's the one that gave me, we with him that started where we called it in the ring, and I thank him for that because then from there I was able to do the same thing with Krieger and other wrestlers, you yourself, when we had our little confrontation, and it works better that way. It's less, like
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
said,
was gonna
it's
say,
less
I feel
stress.
it works a lot better that way, you know.
Yeah,
And I'm already stressed enough as it is. Like I said, I don't need to memorize whatever. We got some more comments and stuff rolling. Let me see. Andrew, TWA Inglewood, they run a wrestling school. Their training days are on Thursdays. I'm not sure what time. There's also tons of different wrestling schools around Florida too, man. So,
Oh man, I like
you
to
know,
know where because that's one. I mean, the last time we used to go up to St. Pete up there to train, and that's been the last place. Been wishing I could get back into training because I miss that. You need that. I mean, you need
yeah,
the
yeah,
timing
absolutely.
and everything.
And
Yeah.
you said you've been doing this for 14 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I started
20.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
almost 20.
started late.
How old were you?
I was 42.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you got me
Yeah.
beat, man. I started training when I was 17, man. So,
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, I did a little bit when I was like 28. It was more than like just a year up in New York at Johnny Rod's. Then me and my ex-wife, we got divorced. She moved down to Florida. I was still in New York. Then eventually I came down here after the World Trade Blast. And then, by 40, 41, 42 is when I saw that, I started training at, it used to be called ACW.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I started with them for like 6, 8 months, and it fell off. It wasn't, there was a fallout. And then that's when I saw the flyer for Coach Frank Reyes, and that's where I've been.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I started wrestling. I had my first match May 5th, like 2007, man. All my buddies were going to prom in high school. I'm wrestling prom night, man. I'm like such surreal stuff, man. So there you go. Crystal says Chief is the man, the most humble person, and she says beat Johnny Walker for her.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. They blessed me the other day with some home cooking. Oh man, it took a week for us to finish it. My son tore it up. He was like, "Dad, this is his favorite." I said, "Well, go ahead, dive in. I'm not gonna be able to eat all that." I thought about him because I know he loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So took it home, and man, we were tearing it up. She asked me, she was concerned. I said, "Don't worry about that, man. You just got to be concerned." And we start asking you for more.
There you go. Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
man, that was a blessing. Yeah. So thank
yeah.
you.
All right, so here I got some other questions, man. Let's dive a little personal here and get to know you, the man behind the gimmick. You
Uh-oh.
drink beer? You craft beer, man?
Say again?
You drink beer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cheers.
Well,
What you drinking?
this is an OE in the cup. I broke it up, had the OE in the cup.
Oh man, I haven't had that in a long time. Look, this
Yeah,
this
see?
one, this one's more up your alley right here, man. It's from Sarasota. It's an intercoastal amber. It's a coffee. It's coffee and caramel mixed with beer. Old English, man. I haven't had one of those in a long
That's the
time.
classic.
That's a classic, man.
I'm old school.
It's old school. Now you just need a brown paper bag, man.
Oh, I had. Come
Oh,
on now. I had look. I had the brown paper
there you
bag.
go.
Come on now.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, shout out to Liam. Liam says hey to both of us, man. Liam, I hope you're doing awesome too.
Hey,
So,
Liam. Welcome aboard to the Chief and Two Rivers and Robert Kirk over here show. Yeah. Give you
all
some
right,
chops over here, some
that's
praise.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you know what? I consider myself a pretty hard chopper. And you too. But I know from experience, man. You got some heavy hands, and I got some heavy hands. So, man, January 17th, man, Idol Paradise, Cuban, they're gonna be in for some pain, man.
Oh my
So,
God. Well, let me tell you about how the chops got stronger. Now I gotta give credit to Ralphie.
oh yeah,
Um
I love Robbie. Robbie's awesome,
yeah.
man.
He about a couple years about maybe about 10 years, maybe a long time ago, he saw my chops and he came up to me and he said, "Man, you an Indian and you putting in those soft chops." He said, "You need to come from all the way over here and lay them in there." And I was like, this is coming from a guy who has experience. Hound Dog is an awesome person. I trained at his place. He helped me out. He gave me some, because I asked Coach, I said, "Coach, can I go train at Hound Dog spot? He said, yeah. And so, everything before I do something, I'll always ask coach first. I pass it through coach. And so coach was like, yeah, Hound Dog is, a good guy. So I started training. He told me about the chops. He was like, you got to lay them in there, especially you're an Indian and you could chop. So unlike punches and kick, you can't really lay them in there, but chops, you could lay them in there. So, he gave me a few chops and I was like, oh my gosh. So kind of like Gunther chops.
Yeah,
So I was like, I said, okay. And when I seen Gunther chops, I said, man, I got to get it like that. So,
yeah.
even still to this day, I work on my chops. I make sure my chops, I put them in there, So I know on January 17, yours and mine combined, we're going to set off some nice thunder and lightning.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's gonna be fun, But yeah, back to the beer thing, man. I like trying all kinds of different craft beers, man. Anything unique, man, is what I'm about,
Yeah, now as I've gotten older, I've tried different types of beers, I didn't even know that there was many different types of beers and the alcohol proof in them and everything. I never knew that. I'm like, wow. So, I used to be an alcoholic drinker, liquor, but so that I know about the proof in that and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
I stopped that. And so, every now and then now, I have my beer and to know that they got different types of beers and names and all that, like the one you were sharing about that day, I was like, okay, I got to try that,
Oh, that was
Like,
a Mexican candy. Mexican candy was awesome.
okay.
It's a strawberry jalapenos mixed in a beer,
Ah,
and it's just super unique, man. And
and
it's a
see,
Florida craft beer. It's really good, man.
now that you
It's
say that,
really
I
good.
remember when I was into my drinking days, we used to take beer and mix it with pineapple juice, and that was called Golden Shower. There was another one that you mix beer with fruit punch, and that was called bubble gum.
No,
I
that
mean,
sounds pretty good, man. That sounds pretty good. That
so now
reminds
that
me.
you,
I don't know if you ever. This might have been before your time, maybe. But you ever meet Dr. Chris Proctor or Luke Centel?
no.
Okay, so they used to run shows in Ruskin. All right,
Uh-huh.
Frankie and Adam, they would go hang out the shows, and every time you'd finish your match, Proctor would walk up and say, "Chief, good job," and give you a cup, and he would have this pineapple thing, and I think it had beer and some other stuff in it, and it was so good. And
Oh,
after
wow.
wrestling out in the sun for like in 90-degree weather, you're just drinking this thing. It's awesome. But yeah, that
Oh,
reminds
yeah.
me of that, man. That reminds me of that.
Well, that is a small world that, I said that and you brought that up. So that's a good connection because, yeah, we used to do that. And that was me just experimenting because I just tried to find, I didn't have enough money to spend on drinks. So I tried to find
Yeah,
something to get me nice going before I went out to the clubs. So you just
there you go.
experiment,
Yeah,
just go to the store, buy me an OE. Oh, I used to drink back then. They don't have it around here, but in New York, it was St. Ives or Crazy Horse. And you take that and you mix it with some juice type of thing. And man, you were set for the rest of the night on just that.
yeah. That sounds good, man. Like you ever drink Steel Reserve?
Oh yeah. My
Yeah,
son,
yeah,
my son is a king of that.
yeah. Ah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, he's on my left, chilling over here, listening. But he's the king of Steel Reserve. I try to drink it, but it's strong sometimes. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's super strong. Like I
yeah,
remember I did a wrestling tour in Nashville, and me and a couple of the boys went and hung out at this gas station near a Waffle House, and we tried to get some beer and bring it to the Waffle House, and we ended up drinking Steel Reserves, trying to bring it in a Waffle House, and they were having no part of that. We got booted, but
man. I drank. I remember I used to drink it when I first moved down here, and it get me tore up. So
no,
I
yeah,
stopped.
it's a high alcohol. I'm not sure what it
Yeah,
is. I think it's like a 8.
I think
What's
it's
it on there?
9. What is it?
9?
8.5.
Oh, well, it's almost a 9.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
the one I'm drinking, the OE. I don't know how much it is, but I drink OE or the Colt 45. Now the Coke
Yeah.
45 is also 8.5. Now for some
Yeah.
reason I could drink the Coke 45 more than the steel. I think the Coke 45 has more like a Celsius taste, and the steel goes down more smoother. So that's why I like the more the salsa taste, like the sodary taste. So that's why I
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
Coke 45. The steel, that smooth going down, it's gonna do. I mean, I'm like I can't. So, but I do
Yeah.
the
You get
Coke
you get
45.
you'll get tore up. You'll get tore up quick on steel reserves, man.
Yeah, so I do
You
the
become
Coke.
unhinged, man.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
It,
that's why when I do my drinking, I do it at home. Like at this
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I'm home already set. I'm not going out the rest of the night. I had a good day at work. I teach. I'm an educator as well. So even the students know that I wrestle. So they support me as well. Some of them have been to my show. That's another thing. They bothering me. They like, Coach, when you gonna have a? I mean, yeah, because they call me Coach at the school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't call me Chief, but they go, Coach, when you gonna have a show here in Tampa? I'm like, one day, hopefully soon we'll have one because they edging. They want to come. We used to do fundraiser shows on the baseball field about maybe 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago. So it's like it's been a while. So I'm like, some of the kids have been to my shows, they've seen it, and they anxious. They want to see a show in Tampa. So
That's awesome, though.
maybe something we could work together. I don't know, down the road and do something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could set something up or try to get something going on up there.
Yeah,
Just find a nice, cool location and get something set up. I think it'd be real fun, and
yeah,
I think it'd be real positive for the kids too. I think right now wrestling's going through like a big boom again.
yeah.
And if we can, inspire some kids to maybe want to become wrestlers or whatever down the line, that'd be cool too. Like
Hmm.
I'm thinking back to when I was in high school. Could you imagine if like a wrestling company came to your school, was putting on shows, man?
Yeah,
That'd be awesome, dude. Like I'd be
exactly,
all about it, man. I'd be like, dude,
exactly.
how sign me up, man. Sign
Yeah.
me up.
It's
What
funny because I thought at one point I thought my son would be inspired to do wrestling. It turned out to be my niece, my sister's daughter. She trains up in New York right now for House of Glory.
Okay,
She's
yeah, yeah,
training,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
She's training up in right. She at the now she's training there.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
awesome,
like,
man.
yeah, she sent me a few couple videos of her doing a few couple moves. I'm like, oh my goodness. So she's doing the flipper, she's doing that, and doing some taking the guy doing a D a three a D some kind of move, but it was kind of cool just to see her. I know she they love it. My sister and her, they watch wrestling Monday through Fridays, all different. The Monday Night Raw, the Tuesday the NXT, the TNA on Thursday, Friday SmackDown. They watch it all, so they very much into it. So to find out that my niece is into it and she's doing it, it blessed me, because it's like to find out someone in the family is doing it as well. I love it. So, she got inspired, and now she's doing it. So, and even I heard now she's in a relationship with one of the trainers over there, her first time in a relationship. So I'm like, wow. So she's very much into it.
That's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
what do your students think of you being a wrestler? Were they like, "Whoa, this is
Oh,
really cool"? Or they probably thought it was the coolest thing in the world, right?
yeah, we shot promos at the school, where the kids we had some of the kids, be involved in the promo. I've shot promos myself where I had the kids be in the promo. They love it. They enjoy it. They look forward to it. I have this one. She's a fourth grader. Her name is Madison Reed. She met Johnny Knockout. She loves him. She's like, oh my God. She had the mask. She asks me, Coach, when you doing a show here? There's another student of mine. He's an eighth grader. His name is Hunter. He asked me, Coach, when you gonna do a show? I'm like, soon, hopefully. So they love it. They enjoy it. I even told a couple of them, from past eighth graders, if you ever want to get involved, just find me here, reach out to me, let me know, and we'll get you connected to a school. So, um, there's a couple of them that left that I hope, because I feel they could really do good in that. So you never know. I even shared it with one of my eighth graders this year. You know, he's an eighth grader. He's a big guy. I said, hey, if football don't work for you, come holler at me for wrestling.
There you
So,
go.
you know, because I told him, I mean, he struggles doing push-ups. I'm like, if you don't learn your push-ups now and you go to high school, they're gonna laugh at you. So I said, hey, if football don't work for you, come to wrestling, you know. So he has the body, the build, and everything for it. So, you know.
Hey, that's awesome. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So you teach at the high school, or what do you do at the high school?
No, I teach in the middle school. I teach
Okay.
history right now. You know, I teach all subjects what my principal wants me to do. I've been working for her for over 18 years. So whatever she needs me to teach, I teach, though I prefer PE, of course, you know, coaching
Yeah.
and all that. But, you know, being with her for 18 years, we work in a small charter school setting. So she knows whatever she needs me for to cover, I do. So this year she needed me to do history. So that's what I've been doing.
There you go.
So,
You got a favorite subject in history that you like to teach on?
uh, you know, it's funny. I took history when I was in school as a student. I didn't really pay no mind to it. I mean, I was a bad kid in school back in my days.
No,
Um,
not you.
oh man, I was telling my son earlier. I was like, my mom put me at 9 years old into the ROTC um, program because she couldn't handle me. My dad was always traveling, doing boxing shows, so he would come home late, wake me up, tear my ASS up. I'll go back and do the same ish again. But she put me in Catholic school and even high school. She put me in an all boys school just to keep me in focus on task. So I was, you know, I tell a lot of my students today, I'm like, man, you know, I tell like three of them, I was like you and you and you roll into one. You got nothing on me. So I'm like, what you doing today is nothing compared to what I did back then. So you know, I mean, you know, I tell my students I didn't like school, but then now I'm a teacher now. So that's why I can relate when they go
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
issues and all the kind of mental stress and everything. So that's where I could come in and help them out now. Now I find my purpose.
There you
So,
go. That's awesome, man.
yeah.
What drew you that way to want to become a teacher? You know?
Well, like I said, I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a school counselor. I saw teachers back then take advantage and abuse the students and everything. And I didn't like that. And then when I told the teachers about what was being done to me, no help, no aid came. So I said, you know what? I want to be a school counselor where I could be there for the students. When I went down to the board of ed, they said, hey, you qualify for a teacher and not school counselor. I was like, well, that sucks. I don't like to teach. They were even baffled when I told them that. I said, I don't like school. They're like, oh. I was like, I don't. I said, you know, then one of the person there, they were like, well, at least you have a foot in the door. You never know down the road, then you could be a school counselor. And I was like, ah. So I said, okay, I suck it in and teach, you know, I'll go through the what it means, what you got to do to teach. But then as teaching, I saw kids, you know, that you know, you just can't teach and know that a kid is struggling and just let them struggle and move on. I can't. And that's the part that I love about my principal, Dr. Capers, that I've been working for 18 years at Legacy Preparatory Academy. She allows me to not only teach, but to engage and, you know, do life skills with the students, like a form of therapy, counseling, everything. So not only, like even today, not only do I teach history, but I make a connection with history to today's life. So that gives me an opportunity to connect to today's life to help them out on life skills, everything, to open up with them. Most of the time they receive, other times they just, you know, typical eighth graders, seventh graders, sixth graders, but you know, at least I get the opportunity to do that now. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that's just completely awesome, man. So I mean, congrats, man. I mean, you know, you're making a positive influence in the world, man. One kid at a time, you know. So just
yeah, I
keep doing
mean,
your thing, man. I think it's awesome, dude.
I thought about when I first started teaching back in 1998, and here we are in 2025. You know, that means that student that I taught in 1998, she or he is in their 30s. And you know, it's funny because I have one that found me on Facebook, and she was like, Mr. Rivera, this is Alexis, a boy from fifth grade back in 1998. I was like, oh my gosh. And she's married and everything, doing wonderful. Her husband, wonderful. They were having their first child. I was like, oh my, so at least that person came out good. I didn't say anything detrimental, negative, because you realize you with these kids 180 days, and you want to make sure the words that come out your mouth is positive, impactful. You're gonna have your moments. I've had my moments, but you want to have more of good moments and make sure those words impact those kids. And to see a student that found me and was excited, they didn't find me and curse me out. Oh my God, yeah, I remember you. No, they were excited. Coach, oh man, Mr. Rivera, you taught me in 1998 and this and that. I'm married now. And I was like, oh wow, congratulations. Oh, there was another student that found me on Facebook, and I told him this is when I first started teaching for the school that I work for now. He was a tall kid. So I said, hey, if you ever go to high school, or college, try out basketball. He was like, Coach, I never played basketball. I said, trust me, they're gonna need tall guys like you for center. They'll teach you. So he reached out to me on Facebook. He found me. He said, guess what, Coach? I had played basketball in college and this and this and that. I really enjoyed it. Now he's married and everything. I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, it's just crazy to see, that these kids that I've impacted, you see the fruit coming out from them, the blessing coming out from them. So, now there's been some kids that, turned out bad, but I mean, hey, we try to reach out to all kids, but if one goes astray, there's nothing we can do. But for the most part, a lot of our kids that we taught, they come back to the school to visit us and everything and let us know what they're doing and what's going on in their life. And that's always a blessing to us to let us know. I'm a father now, I'm a mom now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. So it's
Yeah.
it is, but it's good to see them. They doing good and they working. They continue with their education, so on and so forth. So we've had gotten a lot of kids that come back and visit and tell us what they're doing is pretty good. So we grateful for that.
There you go, man. We got a comment coming in. My awesome wife says we need more teachers like you. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like when my students tell me they say coach comes in with a passion. He's always passionate. I told him from 7:30 to 3 o'clock, you're gonna get nothing but 100% from me. After 3 o'clock, I'm gonna kick back, relax. I'm done. But from
I got
7:30
you on
to
that.
3, I'm gonna give you 100%. I'm fired up. I come in there with a purpose. I feel I'm God led, spirit led. I pray in the morning. I tell my students a lot of times, God puts certain names on my heart, and or he puts a word in me or he tells me what to say to them. Ultimately he's the one that guides my words because it says both life and death is in the power of the tongue, and what you say, you shall have. So that's why I say that since teaching since 98 till now, I want to make sure my words are, life and not death. So that's one thing I'm always mindful when I pray in the morning is that my day is nothing but filled with life and not death. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So besides wrestling and teaching, what hobbies you got? You got any, what kind of movies you watch, TV shows, music you listen to?
Well, as I've aged, I've gotten more because my son, he could, he gets upset at me on this because he wants to watch movies with me, but the movies today is not like the same, maybe about 10 years ago. And a lot of movies now is like it's just they do a lot of remakes, which some of them are cool, but for the most part, what I like watching, and like I said, my son can vouch, I like to sit down and just throw on the YouTube and watch highlights.
Yeah.
I like I'm a sport fanatic person. So when I'm watching highlights on the WWE or I'm watching highlights on now on the NBA basketball and the football. That's what I love watching. Then every now and then I'll dip into some. My son he got me into watching this TV show called Mr. Ballin'. He talks
Okay.
about these mystery stories and everything. That's pretty cool. I watch that. Sometimes I watch the Hodge twins. They funny. They talk about politics and just make it funny. They're comedians.
Yeah.
So I like watching them. And stuff like that. And then the remainder of the times I like watching some news just to catch up, see what's going on. Sometimes I watch. Um, Pretty much that. I watch spiritual things that helps me out to keep me connected to God in the morning. Is all part of my getting prepared for work. So that's what I normally do, but that's mainly what I like to watch, just to sit down, watch some highlights. Even when I'm coming home from work, I tell my son, I'm coming home, have the highlights ready, because I like to sit down, watch some highlights. That's my opportunity to just release, just relax, let
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
all the junk, the negative junk. Because even though I go to school to teach with positivity, I feel like as I'm releasing positivity, I'm also taking from them any type of negativity. And so I take that home with me and then I release it because I
Yeah.
don't, that's toxic. So I don't want to keep that in me. So however, whatever I do to sit down and release, that's what I do. So I come home, put my highlights, and just sit down and just, relax and release. And that's it.
That's awesome, man. How about music? What kind of music you listen to, man?
Uh, I first started out with freestyle music, when I was growing up. Uh, and then I got into new wave, alternative,
Yeah.
rock. I was into Metallica, still like Metallica. The Cure, Depeche Mode, In Excess, um, B-52s. So that's more old school back then. New World Order. So I was always into alternative. Then I got into house music, deep house, tribal house. That's when I started clubbing, going to the clubs, dancing in the clubs and stuff like that. We used to open the circles up, dance all over and everything. Then I got into performing with groups. I used to dance for Club MTV, downtown Julie Brown, back in the late '80s. So I was
Oh
one of
man,
the
I didn't know
dancers.
that. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I was one of the dancers. I used to do that and everything. I also used to be a go-go dancer in the clubs. So I used to dance on top of the stage with other guys and that dance on other stages. And we used to dance and, make money doing that. I did backup choreographing dancing for Wepa Man. His name was Wepa. They called him Wepa Man. Esa Loca. That was one of the main songs he had that came out. We were backup dancers for this song called The Breeze. Um, what else? Then I got into exotic dancing. I did that.
Wow,
so
it's like, it seems like you've always been into performing, you know?
yeah, so I did that. Then by the time I turned 30, that's when I left the dancing business and everything, and because I moved down here to Tampa to be close to my kids and everything. So that died down. Like I said, me and my ex-wife, we got divorced, and now it's just been me and my son. He lives with me. And so it's been pretty much that's it. Just my son and me, and just wrestling and teaching, training, exercising, going to church. I do sing in the choir. So that's another thing of, I just love music. I love
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
I listen more now to Christian music. That's what I listen to more now. Every now and then I listen to my rock, back in the days music, because the music now sucks. I'll be honest, especially
No, I
rap.
agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
there's no meaning behind it. Sucks. So I like my old school alternative. Every now and then listen to that, but most importantly, I listen to my Christian music to keep me focused and keep me in line with my daily purpose.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I didn't know you were such a big performer, before wrestling, you know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to see some of these dance moves, man, before the show next month.
You know, I keep,
Before the fans come in. I want to see you in the ring, bust out some moves. I don't need to see no exotic chief.
no, yeah, no,
No,
no.
I don't need to see no exotic chief. But
It's like what they tell me now. If I try to be exotic, they'll give me money to put my clothes back on.
yeah, yeah. So if you get tired of doing the chief gimmick, you can do the exotic chief.
No, no, no. I think I love the chief gimmick. I'm gonna keep on doing that. I think that's working better for me. Hey,
Now,
working out. As much as I work out sometimes twice a day, about 6 times a week. As much as I train, it's hard for me to get that 6 pack. I remember in my 30s, it took me 2 weeks to get my 6 pack. Now I'm in my 50s, it's taking me forever to get that 6 pack. And I'm not
yeah,
talking about the
it's
6 pack
worse.
that I drink here.
Yeah.
Just talking about the 6 pack over here.
So when you started wrestling, did Frankie know you were an exotic dancer priorhand?
No, I mean, but I did tell them, the same thing like I told you. I shared, I was a dancer, a performer. So he felt like performing as a wrestler would be easy for me. And I want to say I thought it would be, but shit, every day it's every single time I get ready to step in that ring. And I remember what Joseph Saraceno, he met, because I remember when we first had our match, I asked him, I said, "Are you nervous?" He said, "No, man, I worked hard for this moment." I felt like crap when he told me that, because I was like, well, I'm nervous. I worked hard for this moment. But I think what I misunderstood from him and what he misunderstood from me was that, and now he understands, because I mean, we've known each other for a long time, but at that first go around, for me, is wrestling for Frank Reyes, it's like wrestling for Vince McMahon. I want to make sure I do well according to everything that Frank Reyes wants me to do. And it mainly putting the match over. Whether
Yeah.
it's me losing, winning, drawing, putting someone over, whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to make sure I do it as close to perfectly well as coach envisioned it as possible. And so that's why I carry that kind of weight just to begin with, going to the show. Now, when I find out, who I'm wrestling against, it adds more. Like, to know I'm wrestling Bob Cook, to know I was wrestling Robert Cook, the son of Bob Cook, to know I'm wrestling Fidel, the Cuban assassin. I mean, it's not easy for me to go there and just be loose with it. I'm
No,
nervous.
no, no.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
I want to put on a good match. I want them to turn around and say, "You did a good match. It was good." Yeah, we have our little mess up, but there was more greatness in the match. We made a connection, and I want to wrestle this person again. That's what I want. And then when to go back in the room and hear from coach's mouth saying that was a great match, good match, now I can enjoy. I mean, I wish I could enjoy during, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
me enjoying after. Now I can sit back, relax, and now look at the match and enjoy and see. Okay, now I know what I got to work on, and this this is what I got to sharpen on, everything. But I carry that to this day, and I think it works for me because it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me focused. It keeps me just understanding why I'm there. The
Yeah.
fans are there, people there coming to watch me. They paid money, they drove from whatever distance. So I carry all that into the ring to make sure I put on a good match so that they want to come back again. So it's just a way that I carry that I guess I love carrying.
No, I'm the same way. Like I'm nervous. Like I said, I'm nervous all the time before I go out. And then and to think, next month, it's like when you sit back and you think about the big picture, you go, I don't need to know if you do the same thing, but I'm like, holy crap! I look at the flyer and I go, holy crap! I'm wrestling Cuban Assassin. You know, holy crap! I'm wrestling Robbie Idol. I'm in the ring with Pablo Marquez. He's on my team. It's like I I grew up watching these guys on TV. You know what I'm saying? And now here I am. hoping that I can hang with these guys and look and feel like I belong there. You know what I'm saying?
See,
Like it's surreal. It's a surreal thing. It's crazy. You know?
me is like counting down the days. Like, okay, today's December 8th. You know, right now I'm at peace. I'm not, I'm not. January 17th is still a long distance. My birthday is this Wednesday, December 10th. So I'm focused on that. You know, as we get close, like into January, then I start like, okay, the show is definitely coming. It's almost
Yeah.
here. Oh my gosh. And now that you even told me about the opportunity, it's like, oh no, okay, I got to get psyched and ready for this. So it's like I want to make sure I bring 100% to the match and leave from that match, leaving everything behind on that floor, doing everything correct, doing what needed to be done, putting the match over, and just kicking some ASS. That's all I want to do. That's it.
Yeah, and come out in one piece.
Yeah. Of course.
And then drink an ice cold beer with everybody afterwards.
There you go.
So, what else do you enjoy doing? You like going out hiking? You like doing anything cool like that?
Well, um, my hobby, whatever I do in my hobby includes my fiance.
Yeah,
Whatever we do together, it mostly involves with her. You know, she's the one that comes up with the ideas. I'm the one that join in with her. We like to do a lot of walking and staying in shape, eating healthy. You know, we go. Her sanctuary is going to Lowry Park Zoo, looking at the animals. She's an animal lover. So I love, just whatever she loves to do. I love to just partake with her. She's my ride or die. Like she says, I'm her ride or die. So we stay close, tight, even though she hasn't been to the shows, but she supports me. She works hard. She works for MetLife. She's she's a social aid counselor and everything. She try to get people back on their feet. I mean, she's a strong, determined woman. She helps me out. She keeps me on my toes.
that's
So
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
she's my hobby. She's my, whatever I do aside from wrestling and teaching is, the rest is with her. So
Yeah, yeah. Me and my wife are the same way. You like, we I'm down for whatever she wants to do, and she's down for whatever I want to do, And
yeah,
I think I think it's awesome that we can have, women like that in our lives. It definitely keeps us thankful and grounded, and it keeps me wanting to be the best person I can be, for
yeah,
her and my kids,
yeah.
So, you got memories of your first match ever?
Uh, I was thinking about it before, but I couldn't remember, so that's why I didn't really bring it up because I didn't want to. But it was I mean I could remember it was a Royal Rumble, and it was for Coach. I remember my costume. I had this one leaf this little band with a leaf hanging. I had these jeans on. My costume wasn't all there yet. I looked like an in between cowboy Indian type of thing. Um,
I
and
can picture that. I can picture that.
I weighed at the time 241. Now I weigh 220. In wrestling, you're gonna drop weight. You're gonna get in
Yeah.
shape. You're gonna get really in shape. But at that time, I was about 241, 240, so you could really see it. Um, before that day, we were going over the ring. So I was like, when you look at it on TV, it looks so easy and everything. But then when you in that ring and you getting ready to go over, it's like, oh, hold up, wait, hold up, time out, wait, let me get ready. So it was a lot of turning around, telling, wait, don't throw me yet, hold up. So then when it came, but the funny thing is, when it came to that day during the Royal Rumble, it was so quick that it's like, yeah, you like the reaction told you, yeah, put your hand on it. So you going over, put your hand down. So, and then I went over and landed on my feet. I was like, oh, wow, can we do it again? I was like,
Yeah.
it worked. Like, then I said, oh, wait, sell. I got to sell. Oh, damn, he threw me. So I'm going into that, but it was like so cool. I went to the back and said, man, that was so cool. It was so fast. I was like, do it again. But I was like, So that was like, my first time wrestling for coach. But before coach, I had did a few backyard wrestling, and then, when I got connected with coach, he told me, stay away from that. That's where you could get injured. And unfortunately, I did one backyard wrestling early, and just this was like very early in the beginning with coach, and I did injure myself. And I said, okay, that was it. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to listen to coach. That's the first and last time. And I think I could be on. I think truthfully honest, I could say from that day in the 14, 12 years that I've known coach, I've always done whatever he asked me to do. I've always been honest. I've always, I've just been honest. I was wrestling for a company before. I was, and I try to leave a good impression wherever I go. Now I understand that card is subject to change. Now I know what that means. I didn't understand what it means until I saw other people doing it. I was like, wow. I said, well, I pray that never be me.
Yeah.
And I was booked for a company one time, and coach came and brought me a great opportunity. And I said, well, coach, I'm booked in this other company. He said, but this is a great opportunity. This is for, Mr. Larry Hamilton, and stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, really? I said, man, I just met the guy at the Legend Luncheon. He was like, well, he really liked you and he wants to use you in his show. I was like, well, okay, um, opportunities for my age, it's not going to come often. It's very few.
Yeah.
And, that's what I had hoped the other company would understood. I even let them know well in advance, but they took it, really wrong and tried to talk dirt about me and my coach and even Joe Savicino and the whole everything, just they even talked dirt about Larry Hamilton. I was like, then this is not a company I want to work for if they're going to do that,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's it's very silly how petty people can in this business can actually be, you
Yeah,
know? It's it's one of those things to where like I feel like indie wrestling or wrestling in general it would is better if more people could work together and
yeah.
treat it as a we can all grow together and help each other out thing.
I mean,
It
wouldn't that be awesome if
you know?
all the promotions in Florida would join together and make it one big conglomerate type of business? I mean, we'll probably be up there with WWE, but everybody want to do their own little thing and come up with their own little ideas, and you know,
And
it's
it's one of those things to where a lot of people have egos about certain things, and they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that, and it's like, dude, it- what's the common theme here? We all love wrestling. We
yeah,
all want to deliver a great show.
yeah,
There should be no reason to have an ego about anything. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's one of those things to where it's just and most of it's silly stuff that people want to argue about or get offended by. Or if this company over in this area part of Florida is is not doing so good as another company in this other part of Florida, let's talk crap about them. Let's talk crap about their guys. Let's try to cause problems for them. Let's try to do whatever. It's like really like if it has to be like that, man, it's like just stay in your own lane, man. You know,
and I
like
think you hit it on the head because it's all about ego, because I think I want to say I hope to believe the other promotions is all about the fans. The other promotions is all about the love for wrestling. The other promotions is, but I think now what they put in that mixes up the ingredients is their ego. And so, when they then I mean, Coach and I was with this other company, and they said Coach was going to be the one to put together the matches and everything. Well, unfortunately, that person started listening to other voices, and he wanted to get people of his type of kind, more people like that were Hispanic and all this stuff. Coach tried to warn him, hey, be careful. These people are not good. They're gonna twist it and this, that. He didn't listen. So now, he's. I mean, the company is still going strong. that their company, which is good for them. But again, it's what they told coach and how they said we're going to use coach and promise coach this and said coach that. You know, coach wants to retire. I believe having a school and training and everything. That's his desire. Um, and where he's at, his age and everything, he's not going to deal with the stress and the bull crap.
Yeah.
So if you tell him something and everything, then he's going to take your word for it. And that was what supposedly was said to him with that other company, and they didn't. They backstabbed him and connected with some other people. And I mean, like I said, today they're going pretty good and strong and everything. But again, it's just how they use coach in the beginning. And so, you know, again, it goes back to the fact of ego. If people would set aside their ego and just, you know, and I to this day I never understand why people treat the coach the way they treat him. I've been with coach for 14 years, and I've seen even today people lie and talk smack about him. I'm like, I don't see that. I never. I mean, I'm not around coach 24/7, but I'm around him enough to know who he is.
Yeah.
So it's like to hear people talk and say things. I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. So again, it goes back to ego, and it's sad because Florida is the main hub of wrestling. And if people would just put aside their ego and just connect, imagine what we can do here. Big, huge. I always
Yeah.
saw
I mean,
it's like I mean, I'm sorry. I always saw, even myself, if we did a show in Tampa, I feel I could get such a huge amount of people to come to the show. That's just me. So can you imagine if we connect with 3, 4 other promotions to do a show in Tampa with their connections and who they know, how big we could, do a show in Tampa just alone? Tampa's the
oh, for
biggest
sure.
Tampa's the
It-
biggest. I mean, Tampa's becoming like New York and Miami.
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
and Tampa's a huge Florida is a huge wrestling town to
yeah,
where, if people could put aside their egos and go, hey, let's, a bunch of different companies come together, chip in, money and chip in talent and everybody come together and put egos aside and just focus on, here's the best, here's the best opportunity that we can all put forward to, and then you take it from there. You know,
yeah,
wrestling can be a beautiful thing, but a lot of people, you know, like to call it drama, run their mouth, and they like to, you know, you also got people who have, zero experience giving advice, likes to give advice.
right.
I don't know how many times you come across that, but I'll come across that as you go to shows or you go around and you'll have someone who's friends with someone who's a wrestler or whatever like that, and they'll be like, "Hey, Chief, this is how you should be doing something, or you should do stuff like this," and it's like, okay, have you been in the ring before? Like, what's your experience with like anything? You don't have any, then you probably shouldn't be offering advice to people. You know, it's. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. I
I
mean,
mean, one thing for me, I'm an open book. I've before when I was young and I saw people in their 40s and 50s, I said, man, I don't want to be like that person. I don't want to be rigid, stubborn. I want to be still, soaking things up like a sponge. I want to still be learning. And to me, I'm still learning as a wrestler. And
yeah,
so even though certain people may come up to me and I may look at it, they look ridiculous or whatever, I still want to take what they got to tell me for granted because you never know.
you never
Um,
know. Yeah,
yeah, because you never know. And so I may try it, I may not. It may sound good, it may sound ridiculous. But I still like to take feedback. Now, what I don't approve and don't like is people that hide behind the text, the Facebook and bad mouth and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that. That's why I'm saying I came in as a wrestler with a clean slate. I want to leave as a wrestler with a clean slate. Now, whatever you have to say about me, um, you know, I'm a good guy, and I want to remain as a good guy, and I'm always going to be that good guy. But it's like what my pastor used to say: I was not always saved. So, if you're gonna badmouth me, you got to make sure you have the proof and the evidence. Because if you don't, I was not always saved. So you're not gonna like me because I'm a
Yeah,
type of
yeah. No, I
person.
got you on that. You know.
Yeah, I'm a type of person that I will confront you straight. And just let's make it blunt. Let's make it clean. If that's the have show the proof. And I've experienced maybe one or two of those in my years of wrestling, um but one of the times the person apologized, which was good, and that's pretty much it. But the other time they tried to talk smack, and I was like, I went back on it. I said, instead of talking smack, why don't you talk encouragement? Why don't you talk good feedback? Why don't you talk, why you got to come out like that? There's no need for all that kind of junk. So I'm one, especially when I wrestle someone for the first time. Like when I wrestle you, I ask you, how was the match? How did I do it? Feedback, is important because it's gonna help us to do better the next show. So I've always been one like that. I know I'm not perfect. I know I make mistakes. So I want to own up to it and I want to learn. So that's why I'm glad going on 55. I'm still growing. I'm still learning.
I would say you're a rare cat like that these days. Like, a lot of guys, not everybody, but a lot of guys like to go, oh man, cool, thanks for the match, and then everybody goes their separate ways and hang out and do whatever. Like I appreciated that. Like, oh man, this guy's, he's been wrestling for a long time, and he's asking me, how do I think it went, and how do I whatever, and I appreciate that, man. Like, it shows that you still care and you still love it, and you're not saying other people don't, but I mean that's the kind of attitude that helps you could succeed and keep growing as a person and as a wrestler.
I mean, these are things I learned from Coach. When we go to the Legends luncheon, and he tells me go pick their brains, go, get some feedback. Go at the last thing that Joe had with Steve Kern there. He told me, Coach said, go talk to Steve Kern. I said, oh yeah. I went to go and talk to Steve Kern. I asked how was the match. He gave me some positive feedback. He gave me some wisdom that, what I need to do. So, well, I'll tell you one of them. He said, you need to get into your chief dance. When you was battling against Krieger, you got to get into your chief dance. And that's one of the things I know. I got to get back into my cardio, and everything. Cause, we call it blowing up.
Yeah,
So at a
blowing
certain
up.
point,
Yeah.
yeah, at a certain point I was blown up. So, I know what I got to work on and get prepared for the 17th. So again, um, it encourages, that's what I'm saying, at 54 going to 55, it encourages me on what I need to do, what I need to work on. I don't sit there going, I got it. Yeah, whatever. I just go do this. I mean, because even, at 14 years of now, I understand I could put on a match where I could just comfortably, finagle my way out of it and make it a match. No, I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. I want to do what coach trained me to do and really what the match calls to do. And that's to be intense, physical, make the unbelievable believable, everything, keep it simple as well,
And then
but
you also got to you got to also come out feeling that, man, I busted my ass and I had a great match, you know,
exactly, exactly.
because it's for me, I'm a huge critic of myself, and if I come out of the ring and I feel like I didn't do good, that'll eat me up until I'm back in the ring again,
Yeah,
it's
and I'm the
it's
same
it
way.
I'm just like,
I mean, I
I
did that. I did that as a dancer. I would go to the club Friday night, dance in the club, come home about 5, 6 in the morning. I would literally be in my bed going, did I dance good? Uh, if I didn't think I danced good, then I go, okay, I got tomorrow, Saturday night to do it. So I'll go do it. Now, if I didn't do good Saturday night, man, I got to wait till next Friday. Oh, this sucks, man. I suck there. And that's just me going to the club just to dance, not
yeah, yeah.
not working, not getting paid for it. It was just going to the club and just go dance. I would analyze myself on how I dance in front of people and then go, was it good? Good. No. How they watch me? Were they into me? That's how deep I was. So it's the same thing with wrestling. It's like, it just carries over to me doing the same thing. I'm like, was the crowd into me? What Now, at the first, in the beginning, I had to learn because I was like, they booed me. No, then you did a good job. I was like, I didn't know that at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I suck. I was like, no, that's good. That means you did a good job. The fan was, so I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I've learned as I've gone now more with wrestling, So as long as you get some good reaction, fan reaction, it works, and like I said, I enjoy it. I like to say I'm one of the top babyface in Tampa, because I really hone on my craft on selling. Now the beautiful thing is one of the things that Steve Kerr told me, you oversell at times. So I'm like, okay. So see, that helps me. Now I know how I gotta fine tune myself to make sure I don't oversell. And I
Yeah.
know it was in the beginning of the match, but I tried to what I was trying to do with Krieger was stretch each move. But in the beginning, it should be more quicker and everything, which I get it. But that's why I oversell a little bit in the beginning of that match. But I get it. In other matches, I know what I need to do and just make sure I do it like that and not oversell. That's it.
There you go. I mean, like I said, always improvement, always improving.
Yes, sir.
So that's the way it goes, man. I
Yes,
have.
sir.
I'm gonna throw some random questions at you. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Hot sauce. You a hot sauce man?
No.
No.
No, the funny thing is, I could do light, but because I deal with high blood pressure and everything, it gets me going. I just learned hot sauce later in my years. I was always too chicken for hot sauce, but I'll throw a little bit on pizza and stuff like that. Throw a little bit on my rice, mashed potato. Now because I just like the blend of it. But
Yeah.
I'm not a heavy hot sauce person.
See me. I'm a hot sauce fanatic. Like the
You look
spicier
like
for me, the
you look
better.
like one.
You know, like I got hot sauce in my fridge. It's like a million Scoville, 2 million. That stuff will wake you up, man.
You ever did that one chip?
I did it. Yeah, it
You
sucked. It
did.
sucked. I did. Yeah, yeah.
How do you
Funny.
do with that?
I like to think I did pretty good. I
Oh
beat the time
shit!
limit on the chip.
Oh
You know.
wow!
So,
You heard
but here's
that?
the thing with here's the
He
thing with
beat the hot
here's the
chip.
thing with that is if I'm gonna do something super spicy, I'd like to know ahead of time to where it's like a match. I like to get pumped up. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do this
yeah,
chip
yeah.
like whatever. So, Hurricane Ian, I think it was. I'm not sure which that's leaving me right now, but we were out of power for like 2 weeks. And my a good friend of mine, Jason, was in North Dakota. He found out a lot of people down where I live got messed up. So
uh,
he had an SUV. He packed his SUV full of food, cases of water, and he drove down from North Dakota all the way down here to Florida and was just doing welfare checks on people. Hey, you need a case of water. You need some food. You need whatever. So he showed up at my house. Hey man, I got some water. I got whatever. Hey, by the way, I got this one chip challenge for you. And I was like, thank you, man. And he's like, I want to see you do that. And I go, oh man, you drove all the way from North Dakota, all the way down here. Now I have to do it like right now, like on the spot. So I did it, and it sucked. But I did it. But I did it.
come
You
on.
know, like
Hey,
and I would
that,
do it again. I actually have another video on my channel of me and my wife doing one that was supposedly hotter than the one chip challenge.
she does it too.
She did it too,
Wow.
and she doesn't do hot sauce. She doesn't do
Wow.
spice like at all. But the guy who
Wow.
did the chip was called the duel, so you get two of
Okay.
them, right?
Oh
And then you
wow.
and then you both have to eat it at the same time. And then basically, whoever drinks that milk or whatever it is loses. So she got all hyped up and whatnot, and we were like, it sucked, but we got through it.
Wow, but like I said, hot sauce, I'm very light on it. So
Yeah, no, yeah, and me, the spicier the better. I'm always trying to challenge myself. Now, my cousin bought me the world's hottest gummy bear. I think it's like
they get
9 million, 9 million.
world hottest gummy bear. You heard that? You heard that? The world hottest gummy bear. Wow.
It's like 9 million. It would be the spiciest thing I've ever ate in my life. I haven't done it yet, so I'm gonna. So when I do, I'm gonna have to go live on here and eat that thing and be miserable. Like I know it. I know it's gonna suck. You know, but
Yeah.
I ate a Carolina Reaper, man, live on Facebook years ago, no problem. And that
Wow.
was the world's hottest pepper at the time. No water, no milk, no nothing. Just ate it.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
you know.
That's
So
impressive.
so my pain tolerance, I would say, is pretty high when it comes to the hot sauce. You know.
Well, yeah, you definitely one that could take pain because when I was laying in those chops, you was just bouncing off of those. I was like, okay, I got to bring it hard next time.
Yeah, I mean, I give it hard and I expect it hard. You know what I'm saying? And that sounds wrong. That kind of sounds dirty if you think about it.
Well, like my coach says, it's just wrestling.
It's just wrestling, man. It's just wrestling, man. So here, let's throw in some fantasy questions here. If you got a dream opponent, if you could work anyone past, present, or future, who would you like to have a match with?
Uh, well, I mean, I know it never happened because he retired, but I one, which is one of my favorite wrestlers, Undertaker.
Yeah.
So, I try to epitomize my matches according to him, and I try to tailor it off of what he always said, work on your character, your intro is the most important, and everything. And just when you sell accordingly, according to the match. So obviously he retired. Now I I used to, when I heard other wrestlers talking about they wrestle this person, that person that used to wrestle for WWE, I used to be like, oh wow, man, that's awesome. And it didn't happen until the first time was the Cuban Assassin. The Cuban Assassin was my first, well-known celebrity wrestler that So I think getting the opportunity to wrestle him, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm wrestling the Cuban Assassin. I checked him out on WCW. I was like, he used to wrestle for. Oh my gosh, this is the Cuban Assassin. I'm wrestling him. Holy cow! And then I got excited, sharing with people. Guess who I'm wrestling? A wrestler from WCW. He was a legend. This, da, 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 da. So I guess I don't really have any type of you know wrestling. Obviously, if it comes along, someone well known, then yeah, I'm gonna get excited. I'm gonna look forward to it. Um, I was brought with a possible from Joe, of wrestling um Cahagas, and at the time I was like, when I first saw him, I was like, oh man, this guy's intense. But when you get to know it, he's just all about putting the match over. He's very professional about the match.
Oh
Um,
yeah, he's awesome. I haven't seen him in years, but I've worked several shows with him, like for a long
yeah,
time.
because I,
I
I
I
heard
never had I never had a chance to work with him though.
Yeah, I've heard some negative things came out, but then as I watched him and probed a little bit more, he's very much into being like us, very perfect. Wanted the match to go over the way it needs to go, calling the match the way it needs to go, straight down the line, and with no f ups. So I could take that, because I'm the same way. Um, you just want to be careful that you don't have two alphas in the ring that want to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
perfect at their own craft. That's where you can headbutt. But aside from that, you know, mm, I just my desire, whoever they put me up against, is into developing a partnership and putting a match over. So it doesn't matter whether it's Fidel, which was my first ever, or whoever else, it doesn't matter. The guys I wrestle, I like to say throughout my years, uh, has all about been putting a match over.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's those are the best guys to work with.
I love wrestling. I loved wrestling Vega. I love wrestling Krieger. I love wrestling. These are people that I wrestle often more than once. Lucha King is another one I wrestle more than once. These guys, I learn from them. They learn from me. I enjoyed our match. Our match was, I still look at it and see if I could find any type of critique, and I can't. The whole thing, the pace, the move, the ring awareness, I think it was on point. And those are things that I look for, and then what I could take from it to build to the next one. So in all my matches, I've never had any really complaints working for Coach. I've enjoyed them, um, and I just look forward to the rest, to the next one.
There you go. I got another question for you. This one's gonna maybe kind of sound silly. You ever picture yourself like as a character in a movie? If you could play a character in a movie, what kind of character in a movie? Or if
Oh,
or like
I think
like like
that's
anything like that?
that's easy and quick. The Crow, Brandon Lee.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
I had
I
I
could I
had
could I could see you doing that.
I had the exact costume, everything. I had the trench coat. I had the shirt made with the bullet holes in the stomach. I had the same kind of pants, the boots. Of course, I had my hair long.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I was gonna say, man. Yeah, I remember back in the day, man. I think what you and my dad were feuding like years ago, man. I seen the photo of you guys, and I was like, dude, this guy has a cool look, man. He's got the long hair going on. I was like, man, this is a cool look right here. I could
yeah,
see you pulling the crow off, man.
I painted the face. I did all that. And I came out in the show doing that. And the girls, they freaked out at first. Of course, when you go into your exotic dance and move, taking it off and all that kind of stuff, the girls loosen up. But at first, I came out to one of the songs from The Crow, the theme song. So it was the one where he's looking in the mirror and he hits the mirror and he starts putting the paint on his face. If you ever saw that
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
The
yeah,
Crow.
yeah.
So and then that is that song. And so I came out to that and everything. And of course, I had the song blend in with something nice and mellow and sweet to get the crowd going and taking off and doing all that so but that was my gimmick, the Crow. Even when I played two-hand touch football, so my jersey it said the Crow because there was one time I was running and I went to go. You had to tag the person with two hands, the quarterback, and I dove, literally flew in the air with both my hands and tagged them. And the guys on the side, I was like, "Wow, wow, wow!" Doing the crow noise, like, "Wow, wow, the crow, yeah." So I said,
That's
"Wow, that
awesome, man. Yeah.
yeah." So I said, I'm gonna call myself the Crow. So I had my jersey called the Crow. So I was very much into Brandon Lee, the character, the Crow, back in 96, 97. So if I was able to do a movie, I like that kind of aura type of like that type of style. I always love
Got
black
you.
gothic. I like that style.
Yeah, I think they actually remade the Crow movie, if I'm not mistaken. Like recently, I think it was a newer one, or if it's a remake or something like that. I haven't
They
seen it.
just
I haven't
they
seen.
just
I haven't
they
seen it.
just
I
can't
haven't seen the
duplicate.
original.
They just can't duplicate Brandon Lee. That's the only thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you seen the remake?
Nah.
Me neither. Me neither. I haven't seen the original, like the Crow movie, in probably 20 years, man. If not longer than that. I haven't
It's
seen it in a
not the
long
it's
time.
not the same. I mean, I saw they came out with another one right after the Crow, Brandon Lee. I peeped that one. It was okay, but they try to repeat the same thing. They killed him and his girlfriend. He comes back to life, and to put back together the wrong. Make it right.
Yeah,
But that's the same thing with Brandon Lee, and they the reason is they wanted Brandon Lee to continue. This was going to take off for him doing another pro movie and all this other stuff. But when he got killed, and it was in the third scene, how he got shot and everything,
yeah,
so I mean, they were fortunate that the movie was ended. The movie was already finished. They had already finished doing the whole movie. There was just a couple fine scenes that they were
yeah.
doing. So, but to try to duplicate another Brandon Lee next movie, Crow, obviously hasn't worked out. It's not as good.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he was one of those guys that had that presence about him. you know, to where there's no way, shape, or form you could have someone, you know, oh, now this new guy's the Crow. Now it's whatever, it doesn't work that way, So
It's like the same thing um, with the movie Blade.
yeah,
Wesley Snipes. He was now they getting this other guy named Mashallah something Ali something like that. um, and they were supposed to have been come out with that movie for the Marvel, uh, for Marvel and stuff, but they pushed it back because people complaining saying that it should be Wesley Snipes. That's why he played in that small scene with Deadpool 3.
yeah, Deadpool,
So
yeah, yeah,
right,
I think Wesley Snipes could still go as Blade,
yeah,
man. Like,
yeah. So that's why they had him
there's
in
no
that scene.
reason. There's no reason why he can't play Blade. And I've
Yeah,
seen all the Blade movies when he was as he played Blade. I thought he was awesome.
yeah.
I love Blade One though. Blade One holds a special place in my heart. Out of the Blade series, I don't think nothing could touch the original Blade movie. You
I
know.
think Blade 1 and Blade 2 was the best one. When he fought that guy with the mouth, open it up, and he fought him at the end. Yeah, just the whole fight scene and everything to me
Was
was,
that the
I
one?
think,
Was Triple H was in one of them? Was he in that one? No, he was in the third one. I think Triple H was in the third one.
I think that's the one we're talking about, right? Blade. What Blade 2 was it? The one that he fight the guy with the mouth that opens up? Was it Blade 2 or 3?
Blade 2 was the one where he fights the guy with the mouth open. Blade,
And Triple H was in Blade 3?
Blade 3, which was Blade Trinity.
Oh, Blade Trinity.
Yeah, Blade Trinity. Yeah,
Triple H
yeah.
was in that one. Yeah, I think I like more the second one because he was fighting that guy that
I'll have to go back and I'll have to go. I'll actually have to do like
yeah, I
a
think we gotta
Blade.
do one of those.
I'll have to do like a Blade like marathon gimmick and watch all of them in one day. You
Yeah,
know, so
yeah,
that'd be kind of cool to do, man. Stuff like
yeah.
that, man. So,
Yes, sir.
but man, I think it's been an awesome interview, man. I want to thank you for jumping on with me, man. We'll have to do this again, man.
Oh man, I gotta tell you for this, I was kind of nervous. I didn't know what to expect. Though I know it's gonna be good and everything, good positive energy and everything. I just didn't know it's gonna be like this long. I mean, when I look at how long we've been talking, I'm like,
I know.
it just
Yeah,
feel
I
like
was
we've
just
been
looking
talking.
at the time, man. I was like, oh crap. We
Yeah, I was
still
like,
got people. We got people watching us though, so that's cool, man.
well, I appreciate that. Again, one guy I forgot who mentioned it, but I saw on Facebook. He was like, "Oh man, I'm excited! I can't wait to, the chief does good storytelling." And I was like, I thought about that. I was like, yeah, that. I mean, I for me, I'm just telling the truth. I mean, this wrestling has been a wonderful journey for me. If I didn't make it to the WWE, so be it. I'm glad I met Coach Frank Reyes and his son Adam. I'm thankful for the opportunity that they've given me. I'm thankful for the opportunity that they still believe in me. I like to believe I'm his main wrestler, his main, you know, just someone that's, because I've seen others backstab him, turn his back on him and everything. And for me, I want to be known that I was always by his side, always supported him through thick and thin.
Yeah,
So that's my main thing. And like I said, I really enjoyed this journey. I really enjoyed this opportunity. I mean, being on the podcast, the first one to break open this, and for many others to come. I love this opportunity. I pray that many others come and we could continue this and this build because it's fun. We don't get this opportunity to really get to know each other.
yeah,
We
no, for
focus,
sure. Yeah,
yeah, we
like
focus too much on the match. We focus too much on the show and the fans, even though we may get about an hour afterwards to fellowship, but it's not the same. And, to have this opportunity tonight, to be able to talk with you for an hour and 30 minutes, oh man, it was every minute, every second was so worth it. And I thank everyone that came through. I shared it to ask people to come through. Um, and like I said, at first I felt nervous, but after a while talking to you and just, I didn't even think about the time. I felt so relaxed. I felt at home, Like I said, it's better it's better to be over here than in the ring where I had a masked man come in and beat me with a bat, and Bob Cook punched the heck out of me. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
here,
I mean,
here I could.
I appreciate you coming on, man. It's just I just like to just shoot the shit and have fun and you know get to know you some more. You know, like I said, you know, at the shows, you know, it's they're so hectic for me when I'm there, and for you getting pulled in different directions here and there, boom, 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 trying to get mentally prepared, trying to get ready for the match, and then you know signing pictures and taking photos with the
Yeah,
fans, which I don't mind doing. It's awesome. But then
yeah.
trying to catch up with the boys and stuff, and trying to get some downtime is you know very you know few
And
and,
it's
and
hard because
between, you know.
we are sweaty, we hungry. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, we're food in our mouth. We're like, yeah, the match was, yeah, yeah, it's good. Oh yeah, yeah, I know, yeah, I'm sweaty too. Yeah, I mean, we
yeah,
still we engage, but this was good. I really enjoyed this. I could care about the time. It felt really good. If it wasn't because I got work tomorrow, man, I could be on the phone with you talking to the middle of the night.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, brother, man. We'll have you again, man. I got some other guests and stuff lined up too, but I would absolutely love to have you back on the show, man.
All
So
right, I appreciate that. I thank you
and
for
and,
having me.
and yeah, no, thanks for being on, man. And I appreciate you want to jump in on the being on my team for
January
the January
17th.
17th show, man.
I can't wait.
That's right.
Yeah.
And,
We're
and,
gonna
and to
bring
think about, and to think that you're going to be back in the ring with the Cuban assassin,
the
you know.
Oh yeah.
So it it,
Oh
it, it,
yeah.
it comes full circle, brother.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm
all right, brother.
excited.
I'm gonna let you go for now, man. I want to you know cheers. Thank you for coming on, man. So
All right, my brother.
all
Until
right,
the
brother. You
next
guys
time,
have a
I'll
good
see
one.
you on the 17th.
Yeah, I'll see you on the 17th, man. I want to thank everybody for checking out the Robbie Cook Show. That's Chief Eddie Two Rivers, the man right there. We're gonna bid you guys adieu. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Later.